Captain Min watched the burning colony ships through the viewport of the HDC Defender. Smoke and fire drifted through space, where the peaceful transport Unity had been destroyed minutes ago. 10,000 colonists gone in a flash. Sir, 5. Zephyrian battle cruisers approaching fast, Lieutenant Yoon called out from her sensor station. Her voice stayed calm even though her hands shook slightly on the controls. Min nodded. These alien raiders had attacked without warning, without mercy. Now it was time to respond. Tell all evacuation ships to get out of here. Weapons, get ready to fire. The battle began quickly. Human particle beams cut through Zephyrian shields like knives through paper. Fusion torpedoes exploded against alien hulls, tearing them apart piece by piece. The human ships moved with deadly precision, each shot calculated for maximum damage. Min felt no joy in the destruction. War was never pleasant, but sometimes it was necessary. The Zephyrians had chosen this path when they attacked helpless civilians. Their flagship is breaking apart, Yoon reported. 2 cruisers destroyed, 1 drifting. Without power. Within 10 minutes, all 5 Zephyrian ships were either destroyed or dying. Debris floated everywhere, glinting in the pale light of Tau Ceti's sun. Sir, Yoon said quietly, I'm detecting escape pods. The aliens are ejecting from their dying ships. Should we retrieve them? Min's face remained stone cold. No, human ships don't take prisoners. Never have, never will. Some of the bridge crew looked uncomfortable. Taking prisoners was what civilized species did according to Galactic Concordat law. But humanity had learned bitter lessons over the years. But sir, the Concordat rules— I know the rules, Min interrupted, and I know our history. Follow my orders. The escape pods drifted helplessly as the human fleet moved away, leaving the survivors to die in the cold vacuum of space. On Mars, at the Human Defense Command Center, Admiral He stared at the tactical hologram. The battle data showed a complete victory. All enemy ships destroyed, minimal human losses. But she knew this wouldn't be the end of it. Admiral, Lieutenant Kai approached nervously, holding a datapad. The Galactic Concordat Council has sent another formal complaint. They say we violated Law 15-7 about prisoners of war again. He rubbed her tired eyes. This was the 5th such incident this year. Other alien species didn't understand why humans refused to take prisoners from defeated spaceships. They called it barbaric, uncivilized, cruel. If only they knew the truth. What's their response? He asked. They're demanding a formal hearing. The Council wants human representatives to explain our actions before all member species. He sighed. Deeply. She had lived through the dark days when humanity first encountered alien life. She remembered the betrayals, the tricks, the hidden weapons. She remembered ships full of human crew dying because they tried to be merciful. Schedule A. Meeting with their council, she finally said. It's time we told them exactly why human ships don't take prisoners. Kai looked surprised. For decades, humanity had simply ignored these complaints, paying fines and accepting criticism. But now Admiral He wanted to explain. Yes, ma'am. Should I request safe passage to the galactic capital? Do it. And Kai? Yes, Admiral. Prepare the historical files. Everything about the Centauri pirates, the betrayal of Proxima, the Vega Station incident. They want to know why we fight this way. Fine. Let's show them exactly what other species have done to us when we tried to be civilized. Kai saluted and left. Admiral He turned back to the hologram, watching the replay of the battle at Tau Ceti. Every time they destroyed alien ships without taking prisoners, the Concordat grew more upset. But they didn't understand that human mercy in space had been paid for with human blood. Soon she would stand before dozens of alien species and explain why human ships carried no prisoner cells, why human captains never accepted surrender, why the phrase "human ships don't take prisoners" had become law throughout the human fleet. She would tell them about trust betrayed, about mercy repaid with murder, about the hard lessons learned in the dark between the stars. Whether they listened or not was up to them, but humanity would not change its ways. Too many had died already for that lesson to be forgotten. Ambassador Ra walked to the center of the Great Hall, her footsteps echoing in the silence. 47 alien species had gathered here today, their delegates sitting in curved rows that rose like a vast amphitheater. Some had multiple arms, others floated in glass bubbles filled with methane, and a few appeared as shimmering energy fields. They all stared at her with anger, confusion, or disgust. "How you have asked me to explain," Ra began, her voice carrying clearly through the hall speakers. "You want to know why human ships don't take prisoners? Very well. Let me tell you a story." The massive holographic projector activated, showing Earth floating in space. But this wasn't the blue-green marble most aliens had seen in their files. This Earth was brown and grey, scarred by nuclear fire and chemical warfare. "This is our home," Ra said simply. "For thousands of years, we fought each other on the surface. We learned the cost of war. We also learned the value of mercy." The image changed to show human warriors laying down their weapons, prisoners being exchanged, wounded enemies being treated. "When we first reached the stars, we brought these rules. With us, we thought space war would be the same as ground war. We were wrong." A new image appeared. Early human ships, bulky and crude compared to modern vessels. They approached a burning alien vessel, its hull cracked and venting atmosphere. The year was 2295. The ship was called Pioneer. Captain Kim had just defeated a Centauri pirate vessel in battle. When the pirates sent a surrender signal, Kim did what any honorable warrior would do. He accepted. The delegates watched as the hologram showed human ships moving close to the damaged pirate vessel. Airlocks connected. Humans in environment suits moved through tubes to reach the enemy ship. 17 volunteers entered that ship, Ra continued. They were medics, engineers, security officers. They went to help the wounded and secure the vessel. The hall fell completely silent. Even the energy beings stopped their constant shimmer. The pirates had rigged their own ship with explosives. The moment our people were inside, they triggered the bombs. All 17 died instantly. The Pioneer was so close that the explosion damaged her engines. She drifted for 3 days before rescue arrived. Murmurs rose from the delegates, some translated for others in their own languages. "Captain Kim survived," Ra said. "He vowed never to make the same mistake twice. But he was just one man, and mercy was part of our nature." The hologram shifted again, showing another battle. Human ships surrounded a disabled alien vessel. Again, airlocks connected. Again, humans entered the enemy ship. The Endurance, 2301. "Captain." So thought he was wiser than Kim. He sent robots in first to scan for explosives. The pirates had learned too. They waited until the human medics arrived, then activated hidden plasma grenades. The display showed a medical bay filled with both humans and aliens. Suddenly, bright flashes erupted. Bodies flew, alarms shrieked. 57 crew members died that day. 28 were human medics who had been treating wounded pirates. The rest were security officers and engineers. The pirates laughed as they died, calling us stupid humans for showing mercy. Ra paused, letting the image burn into their minds. When she spoke again, her voice was harder. "Still, we tried to be civilized. The Vega Station incident, 2315. The betrayal of Proxima, 2322. The Meridian ambush, 2334. Every time we showed mercy to defeated ships, we paid for it in blood." The hologram showed battle after battle. Each time, human ships tried to take prisoners. Each time, hidden weapons killed the humans who tried to help. "After 50 years and over 3,000 dead, we finally learned," Ra said. "Other species might fight with honor in space, but too many of our enemies see our mercy as weakness, to exploit." She gestured, and the display changed to show modern human warships, sleek, heavily armed, with no visible docking bays or prisoner compartments. Human ships are now built for one purpose: to fight and win. We have no facilities for prisoners because we've learned not to take them. On planets, in space stations, we still follow the rules of civilized warfare. But in the void, no. Ra turned to face the assembled delegates directly. "You call us barbaric, you say we lack honor. But I ask you this: how many of your people have died because they trusted a defeated enemy? How many of your ships have been destroyed by prisoners who carried hidden weapons?" The hall erupted in discussion. Some delegates shouted, others whispered, a few simply stared. "We don't take prisoners from space because we've learned that in the void, mercy kills the merciful," Ra concluded. "This is our history. This is our truth. Judge us if you must, but we will not change." She walked back to the human delegation, leaving the hall in chaos. The silence in the great hall exploded into chaos. 47 different species began shouting, at once their voices mixing into a horrible noise that hurt human ears. The Threxy delegate stood up so fast, her chair fell over. All 6 of her arms waved in anger. This is wrong. This is evil. The Galactic Concordat was built on rules about civilized war. You humans break these rules. From the other side of the hall, the Vorthan delegate made a screeching sound that only his kind could make. The translator machines worked quickly to change his words into Galactic Standard. Murderers! You kill those who surrender. You are no better than the worst pirates. Other beings joined in. The floating Jalians released angry clouds of glowing gas. The crystal Votari made chiming sounds that meant displeasure. Even the quiet monks of Farbeta spoke up, their mechanical voices calling for justice. Ambassador Ra stood perfectly still. She had expected this reaction. Around her, the human delegation also remained calm, though some put hands on their weapons. Distinguished beings, Ra said loudly, waiting for the noise to die down. We do not murder. We destroy military ships that attack us. On planets, in space stations, we follow your rules about prisoners. But enemy ships in space? Never. Why? Demanded the Threxy delegate. Ships are just vehicles. The people inside are still people. Before Ra could answer, the doors to the hall opened. An old human walked in, moving slowly but steadily. Many delegates stopped shouting to stare at him. Elder diplomat Jun had the kind of face that told stories, without words. Scars crossed his left cheek. His right eye was mechanical, glowing softly. His left hand was artificial, made of metal and synthetic skin. He had come from Earth just for this meeting. Jun walked to the human section and sat down heavily. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but every being in the hall could hear him. You want to know why humans won't take prisoners from ships? He asked. Look at me, I am your answer. The hall fell silent again. Even the energy beings stopped their constant movement. 40 years ago, I was Captain Jun, young, foolish, believing in mercy and honor. I commanded a rescue ship called Mercies. Light, we answered a distress call from a pirate vessel that said they were surrendering. Jun's mechanical eye whirred as it focused on different delegates. They said their ship was damaged. They said they had wounded. They begged us to help them. So we did what civilized beings do. We helped. He stood up slowly, his artificial hand gripping the chair. I led a team of medics and engineers onto their ship. We found wounded pirates. We treated them. We gave them food and medicine. We even shared our water with them. The Threxy delegate started to speak, but Jun held up his damaged hand. The pirates waited until my people were scattered throughout their ship. Then they activated bombs they had hidden in their own bodies. The explosions tore through my ship. My medics died. My engineers died. 43 good people died that day because I believed in mercy. Jun touched his scarred face. I survived. Barely. I lost my eye, my hand, most of my face. But I learned something that day. In the void between stars, there are no rules. There is only survival. The hall was completely quiet now. No one interrupted as Jun continued. Humans make a difference between types of fighting. On a planet, we have places to put prisoners. We have guards to watch them. We have systems to control them. In a space station, the same is true, he gestured, to the viewing ports that showed the stars beyond. But out there in space, ships are weapons. People in space wear suits that can hide bombs. Ships can be rigged to explode when boarded. In space, showing mercy means dying. The lead Concordat representative finally spoke. She was a Kelthan with blue skin and silver hair. Elder June, she said formally, we understand your pain, but the law must apply to everyone. If we let humans ignore the prisoner laws, what happens to civilization? June looked at her steadily. Civilization exists on planets, on stations. In the void there is only life or death. We choose life. The Kelthan stood up, her face grave. Very well, the Galactic Concordat has heard the human position. We now vote on their expulsion. A gasp ran through the hall. Expulsion meant humanity would be alone. No allies, no protection, no trade. If you expel us, Ra said calmly, remember that humans have the largest fleet in the inner galaxy. You We'll have no one to defend the smaller worlds when raiders come. The Kelthan paused. Everyone knew this was true. Human ships patrolled trade routes, fought pirates, defended weak colonies. The vote will be held in 3 days, she announced. All species will consider this carefully. As the session ended, June stayed seated while others filed out. The Threxy delegate approached him. Elder June, she said softly, I am sorry for your losses, but surely some mercy is possible. Jun looked up at her with his one good eye. Tell me, honored delegate, have any of your people died boarding a surrendering ship? The Threxy looked uncomfortable. No. Then you do not understand, June said. Simply, we do. The alarm rang through the destroyer Vengeance at exactly 0800 hours. Captain Du rushed to the bridge, still drinking her morning coffee. What's happening? She asked. Ensign Yer pointed at the main screen. Pirates, Captain. 3 Keth warships attacking the merchant vessel Fortune. They're demanding all cargo. Du set down her coffee and studied the display. The Fortune was a big cargo ship, probably carrying supplies to the outer colonies. The Keth ships were smaller but heavily armed. How far away are we? 6 minutes at full speed, Captain. Take us in. Battle stations. Warning lights flashed red throughout the ship. Crew members ran to their positions. In the gun bays, weapons powered up with a low hum that humans could feel in their bones. The Vengeance dropped out of hyperspace like a metal thunderbolt. She was one of the new destroyers, sleek and deadly. Her weapons could punch through most alien shields with ease. This is Captain Du of the human destroyer Vengeance, she broadcast on all frequencies. You are attacking a protected vessel. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. The Keth response came quickly. Human ship, we claim this cargo by right of conquest. Leave now or share their fate. Du smiled grimly. The Keth were known for their arrogance. They thought their numbers would save them. All weapons, lock on target, she ordered. Captain, Ensign Yer suddenly called out. The Keth ships are broadcasting surrender signals. All 3 enemy vessels were now showing white lights. The universal sign of surrender. Their weapons powered down, their shields dropped. Du paused for exactly 2 seconds. Then her face hardened. Ignore the surrender. Continue attack pattern. Yi looked shocked. But Captain, the Galactic Concordat laws do not apply in the void. Du finished. Fire all weapons. The Vengeance unleashed hell. Particle beams lanced out, tearing through Keith hulls like paper. Fusion torpedoes exploded against their ships, cracking them open. The battle lasted less than 3 minutes. When the last explosion faded, 3 Keth ships drifted as wreckage, no survivors. Sir, Yer reported quietly, I'm showing multiple escape pods launched before we fired. Lock onto them and fire, Du ordered without hesitation. Captain, those are non-combatants now. They're not threatening us. Du turned to face her young officer. Ensign Yer, how long have you served on my ship? 6 months, sir. And how many boarding actions have you seen? None, sir. Then trust my experience. Destroy the pods. The Vengeance fired again. The escape pods disappeared in bursts of light. The merchant ship Fortune sent a grateful message, but Du barely heard it. She was already thinking about the report she would have to write. Another violation of galactic law. Another complaint to headquarters. She didn't know that this time would be different. 6 hours later, a Galactic Concordat investigation team arrived. The ship Justice carried inspectors from 5 different species, led by Threxy Inspector Na. Inspector Na had been the one shouting loudest at the recent hearing about human brutality. She came prepared to find evidence of murder. Instead, she found something that chilled her to the bone. Get me a full scan of that wreckage, she ordered her team. I want to know everything about those Keth ships. The scanners worked for an hour. When the results came back, Na stared at them in disbelief. Contact the human ship immediately, she ordered. Captain Do answered the call personally. Inspector Na, I assume you're here to arrest me for war crimes. Captain, Na said slowly, we've scanned the Keth wreckage. Every ship was carrying antimatter, charges wired to their boarding airlocks. Du raised an eyebrow but said nothing. The charges were set to detonate the moment anyone entered from outside. If we had boarded those ships when they surrendered, your inspection team would be dead, Du finished. All of them. Na felt sick. The Keth had turned surrender into a weapon. They had been willing to die just to kill Concordate inspectors. Captain, we also checked the escape pods. Each one had a Keth warrior inside, armed with hidden explosives. They would have boarded your ship or ours the moment we tried to rescue them. Du nodded. Standard Keth tactic. They've been using it for years. But why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you warn the Concordate? Would you have believed us? Du asked. Or would you have said we were making excuses for being barbarians? Na had no answer. In her mind, she had already prepared speeches about human cruelty. She had been ready to present evidence of murder. Instead, she now understood that the humans had saved her life. Inspector, Du continued, we've tried to explain why human ships don't take prisoners. Maybe now you understand. It's not about being cruel, it's about staying alive. The communication ended. Na turned to her team, all looking shocked. Write the report, she said quietly. Tell the Concordate exactly what we found. As the Justice jumped back to hyperspace, Na wondered how many other species had tried to weaponize the Concordate's own laws against them. She wondered how many more traps the humans had recognized and avoided. Most of all, she wondered if humanity's brutal policy might not be brutal at all. Maybe it was the only sane response to an insane universe. The Great Hall of the Galactic Concordate had never seen such chaos. Delegates from 47 species shouted, clicked, chirped, and buzzed at each other in angry confusion. The report from Inspector Na lay on every table, its contents too shocking to ignore. At the center podium, the Vorthan speaker called for order with his powerful voice. The hall slowly quieted, though tension filled the air like electricity. The evidence cannot be denied, the speaker announced, his translator making his words clear to all species. The Keth hegemony deliberately planned to murder our investigation. Their teams. They weaponized our own laws of mercy. Admiral Tay sat calmly in the human delegation area. She had arrived from Earth just that morning, carrying new orders from the Human Defense Council. Around her, other human representatives looked tense but ready. The Threxy delegate stood up first, her 6 arms shaking with emotion. Inspector, Na found antimatter bombs in every Keth ship, hidden explosives in every escape pod. If we had followed our own laws and tried to rescue them, we would all be dead, finished the Jellian ambassador, his gas form flickering with agitation. The humans knew this. They knew and acted accordingly. Murmurs spread through the hall. For months, the Concordate had been preparing to expel humanity for refusing to take prisoners from space battles. Now everything had changed. The speaker gestured for quiet again. Admiral Tay of Earth, please address the council. Tay stood up slowly. She was an older woman, with grey hair and kind eyes that had seen too much war. When she spoke, her voice carried across the silent hall. Honored beings, she began, we never wanted to be right about this. We hoped that other species would prove us wrong. We hoped that space warfare could be civilized. She paused, looking at faces from dozens of worlds. We've fought pirates for over a century. We've seen every trick, every betrayal, every hidden weapon. We don't refuse prisoners because we're cruel. We refuse because we've learned that accepting them means death. The Kelthan delegate raised a tentacle. But why didn't you warn us? Why didn't you share this knowledge? We tried, Tay replied sadly. For 50 years we sent reports. We shared our experiences. Most of you called us liars or warmongers. You said we were making excuses for being barbaric. The hall fell completely. Silent. Many delegates looked uncomfortable, remembering their harsh words about human methods. The Keth aren't the first to use surrender as a weapon, Tay continued. The Centauri pirates did it. The Black Fleet did it. The Void Reapers did it. We learned to recognize the signs. The Votari delegate, made of living crystal, chimed softly. To speak. You saved our people knowing we would condemn you for it. Tay nodded. We saved lives because it was right. What you thought of us didn't matter. The speaker called for the vote. The question was simple. Should Galactic Law 15.7 be changed to allow different rules for space warfare? One by one, species voted. The Threxy voted yes. The Jalians voted yes. Even species that had called humans murderers voted yes. The final tally was unanimous. For the first time in Concordate history, every single species agreed. Galactic Law 15.7 is hereby amended. the speaker announced. Prisoner-taking remains required for planetary and station warfare. But void warfare is now recognized as fundamentally different. The human doctrine of ships don't take prisoners is now official concordate policy. Cheers erupted from many delegations. The human section remained quiet, but Tay smiled slightly. It had taken too long, but finally the galaxy understood. We name this the Void Doctrine, the speaker continued, in honor of the species that learned this hard lesson first. 2 years later, at the Galactic Naval Academy on Proxima Station, Fleet Admiral Min stood before a class of young officers. The students came from 20 different worlds, humans, Threxi, Gelians, even reformed Keth. Today we study space combat, Min began. The first rule of void warfare is simple. Ships are weapons, not homes. When battle starts, only one thing matters: survival. A young Threxi ensign raised her hand. Admiral, is it true that humans never take prisoners from ships? Min nodded. Never. We learned this rule through blood and death. You're learning it in a classroom. Consider yourselves lucky. He walked to the window, showing the vast space beyond. Out there, between the stars, there are no second chances, no mercy for the foolish. Act with wisdom, or become another lesson for future students. As the class ended, students filed past a new monument near the entrance. Carved in stone in dozens of languages were the words, "In the void, there is no mercy, only mathematics." At the bottom, in smaller letters added by human cadets, 1, final line, "Human ships don't take prisoners, and now you know why." The galaxy had finally learned what humanity had known for over a century. In the cold darkness between worlds, kindness could be a fatal weakness. The Void Doctrine would save countless lives in wars yet to come, and humans no longer fought alone.